Welcome to the Wild Simplicity podcast, the podcast for awakening women who are ready to shed the layers, let go of the clutter, and rediscover their wild and wonderful selves that lie beneath. I'm Anna Day, and together we'll explore how to simplify, release what's no longer serving us, and embrace the possibility of living fully in this one wild and precious life. Whether you're a dreamer, a seeker, or someone who craves doing things differently, this space is for you. Let's dive in and awaken the magic within. Hello and welcome back to the Wild Simplicity podcast. This is Anna and I'm here after a short break, 3 weeks, where I occasionally forgot to do the podcast / decided not to because we were moving house. If you've listened to the last couple of episodes, you will have heard all about the house move. And if you're following along on Instagram, you'll have seen some photos, etc. and videos on there. And we are now in our new place and settling slowly. We've been here a week and a half, so it's still early days and we have pretty much unpacked. We have a box or two. I have a box or two left that I'm a bit stuck around, actually. I don't know why. I just find other things to do. So, and they're fun boxes. It's not actually a box. It's a box of all my kind of meditation stuff and crystals and oracle cards, etc. And I dipped into it yesterday actually to get a few things to go to the beach with a friend to have a little ceremony for her. So yeah, that was nice. Sorry, I'm just checking the lens there. Yes, so we're here, we're landing. I feel a little bit disoriented. I would like to do some more grounding and some more, because it's been quite a busy period, obviously. I was also holding the container of 3 weeks of Moving with Magic, which was amazing. And that is now available to purchase as a complete package of 3 weeks of voice notes, videos, me documenting the actual move, so the practicalities of the move and the packing and the decluttering beforehand, and then the organizing and the unpacking when we got here. And I talked a bit about putting different things in different places, and especially the kitchen, which I love to optimize and create. It's still not fully, actually, there's still more to do, but finding places for things that make sense and that make it as easy as possible for things like emptying the dishwasher. And you don't be walking across to different cupboards. You want things in close proximity with where they are, like coffee machine next to the coffee and the cups and the tea and the kettle, etc. Anyway, so I was doing lots of that. And then I think I did voice notes or videos most days in there. And then on Monday, we had the final Zoom call. And that was lovely, a wrap up of all the 3 weeks and what I've been through and how I've held myself and how my intention during it was to move with magic, to not only move house with magic, but to move through life with magic and to expect magic and to expect, possibility and limitlessness. And so that has been amazing. And what changes when we change our perspective to that and our focus to that and what can come up in our life, and how to notice then not only to expect magic, but also to receive the magic when it comes. So anyway, that's available through my Instagram bio if you want to have a look at that. And so now we're still obviously integrating and landing, and I am noticing that I am keeping myself busy because obviously there's things to do. The day-to-day running of a household and the kids and collecting and dropping and all the rest of it, but also the unpacking and putting stuff where we want it to be. But for my body and soul to catch up with the move and to tend to that inner child, my little Anna, who needs to know, okay, we are here now, we're located in this place, and to tend to her, to be with her and to listen to any subtleties that are going on, because I did notice that I was then getting very much into like business stuff and into stuff for work and learning. Again, that's my go-to is when I'm feeling anxious or overwhelmed, is to go and learn stuff. And I just love learning. So there's and it's a really sneaky one as well. It's not like it's the obvious addictions, because it is something that can be framed as, oh, it's knowledge, I'm learning, I'm bettering myself, I'm evolving, whatever. But it's actually so insidious, because yes, it's that, and yes, that feeds my soul to learn and to expand my mind and to learn more about the human condition. And I mean, I love all that, but there is to really pay attention to the subtleties of when it's from a place of lack and fear, as opposed to a place of abundance and limitlessness. And those two are very, very intertwined and can be very difficult sometimes to detangle. But I definitely knew it was going into, because I was feeling overwhelmed and like there was a lot to do and a lot that we had to sort, practical things. So really tending to myself, and by that I mean, for me it's being still. It is literally being still is the medicine. Doing nothing, staring at the window, just being with myself, being with my breath, not even sometimes even doing meditations, guided meditations or anything like that can also be a distraction from tending to what is actually moving in my body. So being in stillness, being in silence, and being in nature, and listening to what my inner wisdom is guiding me to. And it's amazing when I do that, and I only need to do it for a few minutes, what comes out is quite exquisite. And it's like, it reminds me every time, this is just something that needs to be part of day-to-day life and part of the routine, because I do my morning pages every morning, but that's a doing, that's an activity. It's something that obviously my doer self, my achiever self, my personal growth fanatic self loves to do, because I love to get in there. I love to know what's going on in my mind. Like, what is going on within me? How am I why am I behaving the ways I'm behaving? Why am I activated and triggered by these situations, these people, etc. So I love delving into that. And it can also be another way for me to be productive and so although it's a great way of delving inwards and of understanding myself, and it's for the evolution of who I am and allowing myself to love myself more and to become in close contact with myself more, but it is it's also a doing thing. So making sure that because then I also read in the morning. Sometimes I read a couple of pages of, like, I'm really into preparing my mind for the day, like not letting anything else enter my space. I've talked about this before. I do not turn on my phone. I do not and I've done it before a couple of times, either before my pages or maybe during my pages for some reason, if I've gotten distracted and take off airplane mode, and then you see, all the WhatsApps coming in from the school and from different things, from all the different groups. And suddenly it's like a jolt of, oh my gosh. And so it's really, really important for me to be so clear cut in how I protect that space in the morning when I get up early before anyone else is awake, and making sure that I am preparing my mind for the day and making sure I am creating the baseline and the set point for where I'm moving from throughout my day. So that's really important for me. So emptying my mind through the journaling, excellent. Reading a few pages of whatever book is on the go for me, and that feeds my brain, that allows it to feel calm and assured and taken care of. But also the thing that goes and that slips the most is the meditation, the sitting in silence. So I will often sit there for a few minutes. I'll sometimes put on the timer and sit, and that is the time when it's magical, because that's when I can really access that part of me. And I have to keep reminding myself, and there's so many things now, there's so much information, there's so many opportunities for us to just be distracted all the time. So I really feel that it's an act of rebellion and part of the revolution, the reclamation of who we are, to spend time in silence. And if you can hack it, because I know it's quite difficult, because once we go there, we're with ourselves, and it's like, oh Jesus, I don't want to feel all that I'm feeling here in my body. I can feel these icky feelings, but that is the gold. The gold is being able to sit with ourselves and hold ourselves and know that is the way I want to be living my life. I want to live life consciously. I want to be with my family in a conscious way, and not keep having to plug myself into the latest learning, the latest whatever's going on all the WhatsApp messages, whatever's going on in anywhere, or on social media. And I've become really good at social media. I've become really, because I'm doing this, I've committed to myself now and devoted to myself to show up on social media in a different regard, and not out of, this is what you do if you're an entrepreneur and you have a business. You show up online and you create content like gross. No. So I am deciding to show up for myself on social media as a way of, I was talking about this, I have a reel on this, how I'm viewing social media as something different, that I love it. I think it's amazing because it's such a good tool for finding our voices, and for, as is this podcast for me, right? Because I have been doing this now for, this is, I think, episode 63. Every time I do a podcast and speak, I gain more awareness of myself. And now, as I'm saying that, I can feel myself, that observer effect that I was talking about on a reel yesterday, I think, the observer effect of observing myself, you know, that metacognition. It's amazing. But being, whereas I wouldn't have been able to do that, like the first few episodes I recorded, I wouldn't have been able to have that perspective, or to trust that I can be here sitting with no notes and just speak to you. You know, that would have been so scary. And so on social media, what I had been doing is like clips of the podcast and then other reels. But I know there is so much that I can get from being on Instagram and recording Instagram reels, because when I as well let go of any masks, try and keep dropping masks, keep being more and more who I am. And that only comes from the commitment, I feel, to keep showing up for myself, because otherwise what I've tended to do, my pattern is show up, and then, okay, fade away and just go into my little cave again. And really, how can I show myself that I can show up regardless of what's going on in my life, and not out of duress, or out of, like, obviously if there's, you know, stuff going on where I really don't feel, I feel it'd be much more beneficial for myself to tend to myself and to stay inwards, that'll happen. But for the most part, not to use anything as a hiding mechanism, which I've done in the past for so long. And I really feel something is starting to shift as I show up there more consistently, for me, only for me. And if it helps someone else, and if it gives a message across to someone else, great. But the impetus is for me becoming the most me I can be. And that is the juiciest thing. I think that's one of my big whys, is how can I become the most me I can be? And how can I help you to become the Youiest you, is what I always say. Because what else is the bloody point? Like, trying to be who we are expected to be, what we are conditioned to be, what we're programmed to be by everyone else outside of us, by society, by what we see on social media, everywhere else. Like, no, I want to be the most me I can be, because that's much more comfortable. Okay, it's uncomfortable because there's a lot of delayering to get there, and unlearning, and, you know, holding up your subconscious beliefs and being like, oh my gosh, I have lived my life through this lens for years and years, decades. And that is quite confronting and liberating. There is nothing like the liberation of being able to be completely ourselves. And the more and more I am doing that and able to trust in whatever is within me, whatever it's an intelligence. It's the intelligence that like creates babies inside of us, like that we grow these babies inside of us mothers, or that breeds us, the intelligence that breathes. It's not called intelligence, what's it called? Like the force, the life force energy that does the thing without us having to tell it how to do the thing. And that is available to us, not just in our breath and our heartbeat, and like how does our heart keeps beating? Like that just happens, right? We don't have to do anything about it. And the same with growing a baby. I don't have to you know, read the manual and say, oh, this is the next stage. It just happens. The baby forms, you know, and keeps growing. And then lo and behold, there's a child, a little human. You're like, what the hell? And the same with this. I feel that there is an innate intelligence and gnosis, like we have that wisdom inside us, and creating the environment where that can come out more easily, and trusting. And it's there when we orient to that part of us that is, you know, it's I see it as outside this physical body, but it's also me. It's also inside the physical body. It comes from the ether, from the cosmos, from whatever source creation and comes through us as vessels. And when we can trust that and not try and like direct it or overly analyze it first, what comes in, and then manipulate it and then put it out as this, like, it's like processed food, right? I want to have the most organic and pure whole food come out of me, which is like these words that are just, that have a frequency and an essence that is me, because they have been translated through me. And I've trusted enough in myself and my unique avatar that I've been given in this lifetime for it to come out. And yeah, it's so, how did I get in this tangent? Where now I'm like, okay, I'm trusting, but what the hell? Where have we gone? I was talking about, the trust and being with that. Yes, becoming the Youiest you. That's it. So thanks, Brian. That is the ultimate, like, can anything get any better than becoming the most us we can be? I don't think so, because when we are the most us we can be, the most real us, without the masks, without the conditioning, without the fears, without the anxieties, just us as our essence, as our true selves, then we get to go about life and interact with people as they're in front of us, like, and with situations that are in front of us, and know that we can handle whatever comes our way. Know that we have so much more power, and we have so much more intelligence and knowing than we give ourselves credit for, or that we have been allowed to give ourselves credit for. And by that I mean because we are so conditioned and tricked into these, like, addiction to our phones and to technology. And technology is bloody amazing, but also we are over relying on it and allowing it to draw us in, and like really become aware of how much, where your agency is, taking full responsibility for your life. Like, every time I'm on YouTube and the ads come on, well, especially when the kids were younger, I used to, if we were looking at anything, I'd hit the mute button, and then block the screen. I'm usually doing my mobile if they're looking up like how something is made, that amazing program, how things are made, how stuff is made, I think it's called. Anyway, and I'd block the screen so they wouldn't see the ads, and so I wouldn't either. And I'm it's so funny. I know that's really, I'm like, no, you won't get to me with your stupid ad. And now YouTube's gotten even worse than that. There's so many ads. So I always silence them, because I'm really oh, there's a little tiny spider. Hey, a little money spider on the mic. So yeah, watching what is coming into our sphere and watching what is, what we're being subject to, because it all just, if we're just passive consumers, well, then we are allowing ourselves to be programmed in certain ways. And I'm not up for that. I am not up for just being programmed in whatever way that the tech gods or the whatever wants me to be programmed. No. And even when I say that, I'm still being programmed, because I'm still, although I think I have autonomy and have, take the responsibility myself, I think it's still, I'm going to put you over here. I think I'm still obviously hooked in many ways, that I'm not aware of or conscious of just yet. And that consciousness will keep developing for my whole entire life. So but my point being, becoming the Youiest you, because there's something so juicy about that. And you become the Youiest you, and I become the Iest I, the meest me, by loving ourselves, by being devoted about learning to love ourselves. And we have to learn to love ourselves because we have not seen it a lot out in the world. We don't see it. We don't see people loving themselves, like truly, truly loving themselves. And it's not something that has been overly encouraged over the years and generations. And it's something that I know that as I've learned to do this through various ways and means, it is life-changing. It is literally one of the most healing things you can do, to decide that you're going to love yourself, coupled with, that comes from also looking at your thoughts and listening to what language is going on in your mind, and realizing, my gosh, it's all lies. Most of it is lies. anything that makes you feel crappy, lies. Anything that's making you feel like you are a lesser human, that you're not as good as anyone else, that puts you in comparison mode, that it's conditioning and it's not true. And our job is to look at that, hold it up and be like, oh no, thank you, I see you, and no, I don't need you, you're not true. And to reset to a deeper truth, a more truer truth of who you are. And there's something that's just so delicious about that. And particularly in this day and age, like having the audacity to love ourselves, the audacity to live joyfully, the audacity to want to be us. And because the more true to ourselves we become, the more we live as ourselves, the more we help others in the world. We've so much more energy and so much more vitality. And it just naturally then spills out to everybody else when we are true to ourselves and we are not overgiving. We're not saying yes when we mean no. We're not saying no when we mean yes. We're not engaging in any just societal agreed bullshit. Like, no, and we are the leaders. We are the ones that have to go first. I mean, if you're listening to this, you're one of the ones that's going first. I know you are, though. And that's a hard one to be. You're like, oh no, I don't want to go first. I'm not supposed to be a leader. I'm supposed to be one of the ones that just follows along. No. I'm saying this for me too, because no, we're not followers, we're leaders. And we're the ones that go first, and we're the ones that decide and take a stand that we're going to love ourselves. We are going to be ourselves. We're going to be the humans we came here to be. And yeah, it's really, I just see a massive eagle over there. Oh, it's so beautiful. Just gliding. And like the perfect symbol of it's just there, gliding, being itself, doing its things, not trying to flap like all the other birds, because it knows it's a bloody eagle. It knows it doesn't flap its wings like the other birds. It just glides. It's amazing. And that's okay. That's my inspiration for the day. 2 eagles. There's two. And they're both gliding, and they're just like being the eagliest eagles they can be. So yeah. Anyway, the podcast is back. I'll be back again next week. I needed to be back and just take to the mic. I didn't even know what I was going to say today. And that's really that's also what I'm doing on Instagram, on Reels, like just starting to speak and see what comes out. And it's scary as hell, but it's also fun because you just get to go with the flow and not create, structure and, oh, do you have a theme? Do you have what are you going to be talking about? I don't know. And it's fine. Chill. It's all good. It's just having the chats. Okay. So anyway, be the Youiest you can be today and every day. Tell yourself you love yourself. Tell yourself you're amazing. Tell yourself you're special. You're wonderful. You're such a gift to this earth. You're so precious. And so treat yourself like the precious gift. I'm doing the artist's way. I may have mentioned, I keep talking about the artist's way. And in it, she says, one of the affirmations and quote is, treat yourself as the precious gift that you are. I've butchered that, but it's something like that. So treat yourself as a precious gift, a precious gemstone. I'll find the exact quote for you. But anyway, so be kind to yourself, love yourself, decide and devote yourself to deprogramming, to unlearning, and have fun while you're doing it, because we get to live this one wild and precious life. So savor every moment and cry the moments you want to cry, be angry in the moments you want to be angry, and allow it all to be. Welcome it all. Welcome all your humanness in all its forms, and then choose where you want to go. Choose the direction, choose what you're willing to see in this world, choose to see the magic and the miracles. And I will see you next week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Thank you for joining me on this journey to wild simplicity. If today's episode inspired you to let go, simplify, and reconnect with your truest self, I would love for you to share it and help spread the word. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and follow along on Instagram at Wild Simplicity for more inspiration. Remember, life is precious and you have the power to live it fully, freely, and fiercely. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep seeking, and keep embracing the wild possibilities of life.